I want to start this whole conversation with one question that is probably interesting for everyone knowing you. You're working full-time in Web3 for quite some years now. What motivates you day by day to still do what you love to do?
Well, I guess everybody, at least everybody that I talk to, has their own angle of how they entered Web3. On the one hand, there's like the Austrian economics angle, people getting into Bitcoin and better understand, okay, how can it shape a new monetary system? Other guys are more about like the decentralization of the technology. And for me, it's all about like the permissionless infrastructure that I can see like the next waves of fintechs, the next wave of consumer apps being built on these platforms.
Since you started, when did you start with Blockstories, or when was your entry in Web3?
It was at the end of 21.
Okay. What has changed since then when you talk about all these amazing things? Where are we right now?
I guess, I entered with Blockstories at least at the peak of the last bull cycle. So there was huge euphoria about NFTs and other like nascent technologies. And I think like at least in the last 2 years, we like dipped into this valley of desperation where we lost also many of our colleagues and friends to AI and other technologies. And I think what changed since then, obviously there's like the institutional interest that changed with the ETFs but also with many projects being launched by folks like BlackRock and so on. Everybody knows about them. And I think obviously the maturity also of the technology, we are now like much further into, okay, how can developers be enabled to build cool things without having to spend like $20 million on like security audits and special engineers, but how can they use the frameworks here and also appeal to a broader audience that might not be interested in like thinking about seed phrases and so on.
That makes sense. And maybe in one sentence for everyone who may not know you or Blockstories, what are you doing? What are you doing on a daily basis? What are you releasing?
I think our business is twofold. On the one hand, we are the crypto native information platform covering like the German audience. Our content is quite global, but we also recently launched a newsletter that's purely focused on the German-speaking markets, Germany, Switzerland, Austria. And we're educating professionals and investors on use cases and digital assets as a new asset class. And the other part of our business is we have a B2B content and consulting boutique. We just help like also founders and executives in the on-chain economy to better tell their stories and make more people aware about their awesome products and services.
And speaking of awareness, you invited many, many people to the Token Future, which was taking place this year. How did you come up with the idea to host a whole conference about digital assets, basically, or tokenization was the main topic, right?
Yeah. It came through the realization that, at least also in the chats conversation that we had, there was a shift when we talked to institutions like banks or institutional investors that like 12 months ago, it was much less about, okay, what are blockchains, what are digital assets, but much more about, okay, we've seen Société Générale, we've seen like PayPal, BlackRock all entering this market. What's in for us? Like what are the kind of strategies and business cases that we can deploy? And they were a little bit like helpless in their journey there. So we thought, okay, what do they need them? Do they need another panel talk about like the future of digital assets, or do they need like concrete case studies from folks or their peer group that have already done it? And we decided on the latter and hosted a conference that was only about use cases and concrete business cases for the traditional finance industry.
And what were your like content-wise? What are the learnings? If you can summarize that, what did you come up with afterwards?
Well, I guess that there are like different aspects of how the TradFi industry can leverage blockchain technology that is like currently in different stages of maturity. So stablecoins obviously furthest ahead and their adoption. Also now like tokenization of money market funds that has also seen quite some interest. But then there's also, due to regulatory reasons and also like just the state of blockchain infrastructure, there are like many more back-end type of technology that is just being now developed and adopted, and that might, like in the future, help asset managers, also banks, to streamline their processes, automate processes, provide more investors with better access to their products. But many of them are still early.
And with all that knowledge, the two forces of us came together, like you with the whole Blockstories Token Future brand, and we who have been hosting the first season of the w3.vision already with a couple of partners, but now focusing for the next season on digital assets purely. Can you maybe guide us a little bit through what we're actually doing together? Because you are way more involved than I am, and I'm here to ask the right questions. So what is the w3.vision digital asset season?
Yeah. Again, it stems from the learnings that we had from Token Future, where we got like great feedback from the people attending the conference, that they want to see much more use cases and case studies being presented to them. The downside of hosting a conference is that it's obviously limited to the people present at the conference. So what we came up together as an idea was, how can we use like this focus on use cases and on really educating banks and asset managers that are a little bit farther ahead in their journey and just now thinking about what strategies and business cases they can deploy, and how can we just create much more awareness by creating compelling content that is not like limited to one day events, but that expands across 8 weeks, across 8 different topics, and across 8 different channels. And I think it's our claim that it's going to be like the biggest European cross-channel brand activation, and it's going to be a fancy word.
But it's good.
You have to come up with fancy words,
Okay, Max. Then, what are the topics that this whole season will be about?
We identified 8 core topics that we think are the most important verticals inside the digital assets industry. Like out of my head now, I think it's custody, it's tokenization, it's staking, it's investment products, it's digital identity, it's regulation, it's digital money, and blockchain networks, so infrastructure.
Can it all say by heart. This is really nice, and this is something that all these investors, the TradFi community, is also looking into, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the 8 pillars. Obviously, you have to focus on some of them. Some players also cover all of them, but these are the 8 core pillars, and we are eager to team up with the industry leaders on each vertical.
When does the digital asset season start, and until when do the people that want to work with us have time to apply?
Yeah, we will launch this in January, and we'll go for 8 weeks, and the idea is really to start next year with a big bang. So for every player out there that is really focusing on, okay, now I've created nice products and services, but I want to bring them to my target audience and really start the next year with a bang. This is for them. And for the application side of things, where we will try to close all partnerships until the end of this month, so end of October. So we have plenty of time also in November, December, when everybody's already like in Christmas mood. Yeah. So we can do the hard work and
we do the planning,
go into production. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Talking about all of these like channels that you've mentioned, what exactly are these channels? I know that, we have the podcast, the newsletter and stuff, but what is the value proposition by including all of them into this?
Again, there are like 2 goals. The first one is really to maximize awareness about our partners' products and services and their case studies. And the second goal is to really convert this attention into leads and demand for our partners. So we want to combine both physical and digital activations, spanning across like physical events, but also digital like industry calls that are like adjacent to webinars, but also podcasts, newsletters. We're gonna do like a really intimate industry dinner here, inviting like the industry leaders in this field. Gonna publish a report. So many other things. You're gonna get involved with, with
I know.
your account. I think at the end of these 8 weeks, you really have to live in a hole to not have stumbled across like our partners and our content. Yeah.
This is a very good one. Why don't the partners that we're onboarding just don't do it all by themselves? Like, why do they need the w3.vision as like an enabler to host all of these things?
Yeah, I think on the one hand they're handicapped when it comes to telling their own story, because people just want to like trust like someone that really tells them about the benefits and so on, and we obviously have an inclination to be a little bit more like passive or careful when brands or companies tell their own stories. So they have their bias obviously, and we all, like, I can speak for you too, but for us as well obviously. And that for the last 3 years we have been laser focused on providing objective information about the on-chain economy, and we want to leverage this trust for our partners. And then on the other hand, I think most like infrastructure and also finance players, they're really great at the product they're building, but they might sometimes also lack the competency to like tell compelling stories.
Yeah,
this
that's
is our stronghold. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And who are the people that we're inviting to join the digital asset season? Like whoever's listening to that, like who's joining?
We have 3 groups. It's sell side, so especially banks. Then it's buy side, like professional investors, asset managers, hedge funds, and so on. And the third group is large corporations like the Siemens, telecoms, and so on of this world that are already like issuing bonds or are on the brink of launching their own digital bonds or staking services and so on, and really want to combine these 3 players, and also obviously tap into our huge network of Web3 native companies that we have established connections with, and see how can we really connect these different groups and help them to do business together.
How do these people get in touch with us? What's the best way?
You can slide into my DMs. You can comment below one of the many posts that also you are publishing. I think, it's a digital world, so just reach out to us. We're really happy to hear from you and see if we can work together on this.